What's up, peeps? Another evening with how to make a beat. With, you see this? Is there anybody who can help me with this? How to make a beat with QB, with me, right? I'm trying to get my dreads. Is there anybody who can help with my dreads? Oh my god, these dreads need to be properly fixed. Anyways, so today I will be talking about creativity. Oh my god. Yeah, I had to do that. So what are we talking about today? Creativity. hmm So I started a beat, I think it was the day before yesterday, right? And today I promised you guys that I would have started basically started a beat from scratch. But I'm just gonna talk a little bit about creativity today, right? So as a beat maker, you should be creative for many reasons, but one specific reason, right, is that when you are creative, your product will stand out. Uh, give me a second. Yeah, so being creative, it will stand out. You don't need to be following what you see everybody doing. As a beat maker, what you want to do is also to create your own sound, right? Yeah, we know that there are sounds out there already, people we most persons would want to go for the, I would say, the industrial sound, and um what they hear out there, the snares, the claps, the grooves, everything. But you can work with those stuff, but also be creative with it. You don't have to. You don't have to be. You don't have to basically just fit yourself within that box, that the standard that you hear. Everybody is doing the same thing. You can use that, but you can also be creative with it and build on it, because that's exactly what you need to do. If you, let's say for example, you hear a rhythm that you like, and you want to, let's say you're trying to create something similar, right? You can hear it, like it, but when you're making that beat, you want to be creative with what you're doing, because that is what really is going to stand out for you, your own creativity to that already created piece of music. So you can hear it, you can like it, and you think, oh yeah, I like how that beat sound. Let me see if I can um just go as close as possible to you. You don't want to go out there make recreating people beats. That's copyright issue there, right? And you can be sued for that. If you go out there, create somebody beat and they already have it out there, and you know what I mean? You can get in serious problem for that. So you don't want to do that. But you need to be, it is important that you are creative when you're making your beat. So I started this beat day before yesterday. You guys, I was playing it yesterday. The video that I did yesterday, you guys could hear it in the background playing. But as I went home, I went home last night, and then guess what? Fresh ideas start to come. So I came in the studio again today, because as much as I'm doing the beat, I'm still thinking, oh, what else can I do just to get this rhythm to sound a particular way? Because I'm actually hearing a sound, right? And I want to create that sound, so that when it is when it is done, it will be, I'm not say perfect, but oh, I want it to sound. You get me? And it don't sound like nobody something. You get me? We cannot get around progressions because progressions are always there, right? 1625, 1546, 3625, all of those progressions, they're always there, right? And you can once you're making a beat, you're gonna have to to some extent use one of those progressions, right? Because that's how music works. Progressions doesn't change, but what you do is change up how you lay those chords, right? So it is important to be creative with your song, right? So let's say, so I'm going to play 1 6 2 5, right? So that's 1 6 2 5. So 1625. Let's say I want to create something with a 1625 progression, but I want to be creative because everybody know the 1625 progression, right? So that's 1625 progression. Now I want to be creative with it. Right? So once you start to become creative with it, then you change it from what it originally sound like to what you want it to sound like, right? Originally it was this, right? So be creative. Nothing beats your creativity. So the rhythm yesterday. Let's turn the screen now to the computer, right? So after yesterday,
Friends up.
I was basically playing around with some stuff. Um, and then today I just decided, a few stuff that I could than bow white, what's up. Today I decided I could put a few stuff. So you guys tell me, you hearing the rhythm? My passion, blessing. So basically from yesterday, so you guys would, if you watch the video before, yes, the video I did yesterday, which would be, that's the first video that is there, you would see the all of the changes that I did to this beat from yesterday to this morning when I came in the studio, right? So as I say, creativity is not a bad thing. You can hear something, you can hear a beat, and you want to create. You like the you like the arrangement, right? And if you like that arrangement for that beat, you can actually listen to the arrangement. Don't go and recreate people's beat, right? You cannot do that. You're not allowed to recreate anybody's beat. But what you can do is to listen to the arrangement, and you can also be creative with that arrangement depending on how you want it to sound, right? But don't just go up there, hear somebody beat, decide that you're going to recreate everything and build it the same way. No, you don't do that. Progression, um, progressions, thanks my passion. Progressions are not, I would say, nobody can really, how should I put it? You cannot copyright a progression, right? You cannot, there's nothing that you will play on your keyboard or your synthesizers that isn't already out there. But what you can do is how you arrange those progression. That is what really change it. If you listen to somebody drum tracks, you try to build it the same way, try to get all of those snare slaps, kicks, and all of those things the same way, and you try to arrange your phrases and all of these things the same way, then no, that can get you in trouble, because that's, you're talking about people intellectual property. If you actually go and you are playing these type of phrases and stuff like that, and somebody just go back and then you hear them go and listen to it and then play back everything, no, that's a different thing. No, you can get into trouble for that, because that's no somebody else's creativity that you're messing around, right? How they do it now, and as I was saying yesterday, is that what is actually happening now in the music industry is that everything is almost sounding alike, right? Because of why? Everybody's using almost the same type of loops, right? The same drum loops, the same piano loops, the same synth loops, all of the pad loops, everything. So these guys are basically using the same stuff. So most of the rhythms that you hear out there now, especially because most of those beats are not being created by actual musicians, right? It's just people who, I would say, guys who like music, they understand how to get a few loops and a few what do you call them? Loops and uh, I keep forgetting that word. You know what I mean? But samples, yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? And they just put them together and they say, oh, I make a beat, but then it sounds like somebody else's beat, right? Like I've listened to so many beats. I've gone on YouTube, I listened to so many beats, and when you listen to one guy over here say, oh, this beat is mine. But then when you listen to another guy, he's using the same type of things, right? And it sounds the same way. No, as I say, I'm from the old school. I like creativity, right? And I love to sit down and actually play my stuff, right? I cannot recall actually using a sample like a loop, like somebody already play. I don't have a piano sample pack. I don't have any of those things that I can say, oh, I drag and drop. No, I've never done drag and drop before. Every single thing that I do, as you can see, I'm using Logic Pro X. Everything that I do, I create. I play them with my hands. I don't just take somebody's I don't just download a sample pack, put stuff together. So all of this, as you can see, I play them with my hand. I use my keyboard and I play them in, right? Because I want it to sound. Um, I want when I put my beat out, I want it to sound original. I want it to sound fresh. I want it to sound um like somebody actually sit and create it and think about the chord progression. Somebody sit and actually think about the different phrases, the drums sound, how it sound, you know what I mean? And as I say yesterday, I love when my stuff is more I love to be sentimental attached to my stuff that I do, right? So I like to say, oh yeah, I did that, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I play them, right? I play them. So, creativity is good. Nothing is wrong with being creative. It's always good to be creative because then you can say, oh, I did that all by myself. You know what I mean? That's something I did, came from my own inspiration, right? So just grabbing some stuff and drag and drop, put them on a, just drag them, put them in there. Yeah, yeah, it is quicker, right? It is quicker. I guarantee it is quicker. But if you are a musician and you like to create, because as I say, the real creators in these things are the guys who actually sit down and actually make these. Those are the actual guys who are the real creators, the ones who actually make these samples. So, anytime you're making a beat, it is always good to think about, the sounds, different sounds that you would want. What are you going for? What do you want this rhythm to sound like? What do you want this beat to sound like? You know what I mean? What elements do you want to stand out? Let's say you want it to be driven by the bass, right? Then what you're going to do is really push your bass. Good. So like this, I'm actually, you will listen, you will hear. So this rhythm, actually, I'm using the drums to drive this rhythm, the drums and the bass. So you can see, you will hear both of those instruments stand out more. So take a listen again. Yeah, so if you listen to that beat, you'll hear the bass and the drums standing out, especially the kick drum and the snare, right? It's really punching because I want those two instruments to be the driving elements in the beat. So you have to decide what you want, what you're going to use to drive your beat, right? And you can use anything. It can be the piano, it can be the pads. It doesn't matter. It is what you want to you are trying to use to stand out in your beat. It's just like when you have some songs that you're producing and you're using the rhythm to drive it, right? And there are some songs that you produce, the vocals, you want it to be up front in your face, but you know what I mean. So it depends on what you're using to drive the beat or to drive whatever you're producing. Right? So guys, always remember, and I'm gonna always say it every time I come here, you will always hear me say it. Creativity is still selling. Don't let anybody tell you that creativity is not selling. And creativity doesn't mean that you are not being into what is happening or what is going on now, or you're not being modern. You get me? It only means that even though you're trying to use what is out there, what you do is make it's like you own whatever you do. As I just use a reference as a 1625 progression, but you can use to do because it's just a 1625 progression, but then you can play the piano arpeggiated or staccato, whatever it is. You can do different ways of how you can be creative with your music, right? So don't let anybody cause you to feel like, oh, you know what I mean? You're making a beat and you're not use sample, you're not use loops, you're not drag and drop. No, right? It doesn't mean that because you're not dragging and dropping on your thing, in your DAW, it doesn't mean that your rhythm cannot sound good or your rhythm I rather to have a beat that doesn't sound like everybody else own than to have a beat that just blending with everybody else. Right? And as I say, guys, always remember your creativity. If you're a musician, if you're whatever, you're a beat maker, whatever you do, if you just even using samples, try to make it a little bit more creative. Don't just take some samples and put them together and leave it and allow it sounding like something that is already out there and then put oh, I make a beat. No, right? Put some work in it. You get me? Put some work in it and have the thing feeling like you did something. But outside of that, I'll just say you're not being creative, right? If that's all you do, if all you do is get some sample packs and some 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 loops and some stuff and just put them on a in a DAW, that's not creating. That is not creating, right? Creating is when you think up these things, and even if you are using the loops, you be creative with them, so you don't just put them down on there and let it sound like somebody else's thing, and then you say, "Oh, I created a beat," right? So before I go, I just want to say, remember, creativity sells, right? It's not bad to be creative, right? It is good to be creative because then you'll be a little bit more, I would say, sentimentally attached to what you do. You feel more fulfilled because, hey, I did that. You know what I mean? I did that. And it won't sound like everybody else's thing. Right? So, guys, always remember what? What is the number one rule? Be creative. Blessings. See you all tomorrow.